Hey, my lovely people. So today I wanted to come on here and talk about how Black kids, so-called Black kids, are treated in schools, in the public education school system in America. So I know y'all have seen these news stories of our little Black babies getting their hair cut off or getting, discriminated against. They can't, wear braids in their hair or this or that. I've never had anything to that extreme happen to me, but I also think that it was just because of how serious my adopted father was about me. Well, actually, all my guardians. If there's one thing I give every person that's raised me, it's that they never let anybody mess with me when it came to school. It wasn't no bullying me. It wasn't no talking down to me. It wasn't none of that. So, but I will give you some examples of experiences I've had in my own life of being a so-called Black person at these American schools. So, if there's one thing y'all didn't know, so-called Black children are disciplined way more than any other race. Way more. And the only reason I know this to be true is because it has happened to me. Before I attended high school, I attended several elementary schools and a middle school that were predominantly Hispanic, white, and Asian kids. And I was literally, if not the only Black kid in class, I was one of the only Black kids in the entire school. So I would always see kids doing, crazy shit, acting out, whether it was fighting, whether it was arguing with the teacher, whether it was threatening their lives, anything. I saw these kids act out oftentimes with no repercussions. No repercussions. I seen them call the teachers bitches and all these different names, all these different crazy names. I've heard them use profanity against the teacher. I've heard them threaten the teacher. And most of the time, or a lot of the time from what I saw, it was just, they'll get sent to the office. Or, she's having a bad day today, so I'll let it slide. Or, I could tell he's not feeling good, so I'll just leave him alone. But then when it came to me, if I ever did anything wrong, I got punished to the highest extent of the law. Basically, in the school, I remember forgetting my homework one time. I remember forgetting my homework because during this time, my adopted father was getting treatment for cancer. And I was a teenager. I was maybe 13 years old during this time. And it was one of the hardest times of my life. So I'm not even worried or even thinking about no homework. And do you know, my teacher didn't even ask me why I forgot my homework, what happened, anything, just automatically gave me detention. Was like, oh, you forgot your work, detention. Anytime I would do something in class, it was automatic detention. But let somebody else forget their homework or miss a test or whatever, it's always open discussion. It's always, I'll help you out, or, I know you're dealing with stuff, so it's okay, I'll excuse it. But for me, it's unacceptable. For me, you're getting detention. You need to go see the principal. But for other kids, it's, I understand what you're going through. And it's also really messed up that a lot of these so-called teachers, principals, counselors are racist as fuck. So racist. And I'm not saying all of them. There are some beautiful, wonderful people, especially non-Black people, who have really helped me and really changed my life as far as education. So I'm not speaking that on everybody, but I'm saying I guarantee at almost every school out here, there's somebody racist, because the school system itself is pretty racist. Do you know how it feels to be the only Black child in a classroom, in a history class, where they're teaching that, your people were slaves. Y'all came over here as slaves. You started as slaves. And after slavery, then y'all made something of yourselves, because we had to save you guys from poverty, from famine, from all these different detrimental things that you never would have saved yourself from had we not taken y'all and introduced you to slavery. It's such a twisted, morphed concept that our Black babies that have to deal with, to be taught in school that before you were anything, before you were a king, before you were a queen, before you were even a person, you were a slave. And mentally, it drags our babies down. Mentally, it makes you feel less than. And during the topic, the teachers aren't sensitive about it. They won't stop. I've never had a teacher ask, oh, I know these are some sensitive topics we're discussing. Would you like to step out? Or would you like to call your parent? I've never had a teacher ask anything like that. But they will teach, Black people, African Americans were slaves, and they don't even teach the full extent of slavery. They act like it was basically they were just servants, indentured servants, or just employees. When they were brutalized, they were murdered, they were raped, genitals were cut off. There's so much crazy stuff that happens during American slavery that's never taught about. No one teaches about the oppression and the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse that stems for generations from being a slave. But they're quick to tell you, hey, don't forget you were a slave, though. They won't tell you, the extent to which they messed you up. They'll just tell you that you're messed up. And that's really unfair and uncool about the American school system. On top of that, a lot of these teachers have so many different stereotypes. Like, they will see you and immediately think they know something about you, or ask you so insulting questions, thinking they're really doing something. Like, I've had teachers ask me, like, oh, is everything okay? Are your parents at home? Is your dad in jail? Is that why you're upset? You and me and my sister went to school together. I've had teachers ask, oh, you and your sister, you guys have the same mom and dad. We got the whole same face. Of course, we have the same mother and father, but because we're Black, they assume, oh, you guys got to have different dads. Oh, I'm surprised you guys actually have the same last name. I've heard so many teachers make so many unnecessary, blatantly rude comments about stereotypes they know nothing about, or ask questions about stuff they know nothing about. I've had teachers ask me to rap in class. I've had teachers ask me to come up and show the class how to do the new dance move because they know I know how to do it. I've had teachers kick me out of class. I had a teacher kick me out of class. He was a substitute teacher taking attendance, and he called my name. He said, Catherine Davis. I raised my hand, here, present. And he said, no, I said Catherine Davis. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, I'm Catherine Davis. This teacher gonna slam the notebook, whatever he was taking attendance on, slammed it down to the table and said, you know what? I'm not gonna take this shit. You can get out. And then he kicked me out of class because he told me I was a liar and there's no way I could be named Catherine, because people who look like me are never named Catherine. It's Keisha, it's Shaquita, it's Lysandra, but there's no way my parents could have named me Catherine. And can y'all guess what race or ethnicity or what category you could put this teacher in? Ding, ding, ding. He was white. Not saying all white teachers are like that, but he was definitely racist as fuck. I have so many stories. I even had a teacher tell me, I had a teacher who, mind you, this was not a super successful woman. She was one of the most miserable people I've ever seen. Didn't smile very much. She drove a really old car. She had like 20 billion cats that she would always tell us about. She was an older white lady. And she had the audacity to tell me, I think I was having trouble with an assignment or something. And she had the audacity to tell me that I need to listen to her because she's trying to help me gain an opportunity that I would never have. She said I would be lucky to become something and someone as successful and as amazing as she is, coming from a culture like mine, coming from a place like mine. And do y'all know, I let her have it. I probably called her every name in the book. Every name in the book. I'm not even going to lie to you. I went off on her ass. And when I got home, it was a completely twisted story. When I got home, she told my guardian that I was just blatantly being disrespectful. I was just having a bad attitude and I just wouldn't listen and stuff. But she failed to mention how she told me that I would never amount to anything. How she told me I would be lucky to be successful in any light. How she told me I need to try and be one of the first in my family to graduate high school. Not knowing both my mother and father not only graduated high school, but attended college. She told me that being how I am and looking how I look, I would be lucky to get even close to where she's at. And girl, you not the principal. You don't own this school. You are a teacher at a public school in a low income area while you're acting like you're shitting on me and on my life. Like it was just really crazy and really psychotic to me that even if she strongly, super 1,000% with every bit of her being believe these things, why would you tell a child that? Why would you diminish a child's hope for their future? Why would you tell them that if they don't listen to you, they'll never amount to anything and never be anything? And on top of that, why would you call home and tell my parents I did something to you when me attacking you, me going off on you was self-defense? You came at me. My dad taught me to stand up for myself. My adopted dad taught me you don't let anybody mispronounce your name. Every time they say your name wrong, you correct them. Every time you feel disrespected or you feel small, you let them know. You don't let people run all over you. And I'm supposed to let this was she an art teacher? I can't remember what she did, but I'm supposed to let this teacher diminish and demean my character and make me feel like I'm irrelevant and unimportant and I'll never be anything and like she's so much better than me because she's white? Makes absolutely no sense. I have so many stories I could tell you guys about stuff like this, and it's just really unfortunate what a lot of our babies go through and have gone through in schools, because talk to your so-called Black friends and I guarantee you they have either the same or very similar stories about how teachers discriminated against them, or teachers knew, I know your parents probably aren't at home. I know your dad's probably in jail. I know you and your siblings probably don't have the same parents, It's ridiculous how all these negative stereotypes are reinforced on us, our babies, and our families in so many different ways. And if you don't have a parent that don't play about you, if you don't have a parent that has the time to be there checking on everything, you can go through so much. A lot of these stories that I'm telling you, my parents didn't even know this stuff happened. And this isn't even the first occasion. These are just a couple of stories that I'm telling you guys about what happened to me. And it's unfortunate and it's not okay. You should never be taught that you're a slave before you're taught that you're a king or a queen or a powerful being. Nobody should be taught like that. You should never have to be looked down against. Kids should never be looking at you like you're dirty or you're less than, or you're not as good, or you'll never be as amazing as they are because of what we learn in school. It's ridiculous. We have to do better, and we have to really find leaders and be the change that we want to see in the world. So before you kick that little baby out of class, before you tell her she has an attitude, consider what she might be going through, because I was going through some very terrible things. And I only remember maybe 1 or 2 teachers really asking me why I was upset before getting angry with me for being upset, or just being dismissive, saying there's no excuses for me not to have my homework or not to have been there on the day of the test when my dad was battling cancer and they didn't know what I was going through. You never know what these little kids are going through, because as so-called Black kids, we hold so much pain and we have to carry so much pain all the time. And it's not just us. I'm just giving you an insight into how my childhood was and how my life was. For a lot of kids, school is an escape from the hell that a lot of us have called home. So to be discriminated against, to be stereotyped, to be targeted at school is so sad. It's so sad. And we got to do better. So to do better, we have to be better. And you got to be the change you want to see in the world. Take care of yourself, you guys.